a service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC Podcasts are a service of CNC Worldwide, brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. United States Senator Charles Schumer and local officials, including the supervisor of Arundecoit, stood at the Somerville Pier and called for more lighting on the pier to prevent boating accidents. 2 boats have collided with the pier in the dark this summer. There have been others in the past. The pier sticks out more than half a mile into Lake Ontario on the eastern side of the Genesee River at the Port of Rochester. It's marked with the required navigation lights, but unlike the Charlotte Pier on the opposite side of the channel, it doesn't have additional lighting. The opposite pier is brightly lighted as part of Ontario Beach Park. Schumer says the federally required red and green navigation lights are clearly not enough for some boaters who don't see the pier at night as they approach from the east. Schumer says the Army Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard need to install more lighting to ward off tragedies. Rochester police and firefighters suspended their search Monday evening for a missing 27-year-old Rochester man swept into the Genesee River at the Lower Falls. The fire department says 3 people were walking along the falls when the water swept them in. 2 of them made it out, but the third man did not come back up. Firefighters and a police scuba team searched the river but couldn't find anything. Finally, they called off the search in the evening. A 76-year-old Lakeville man was pronounced dead at Strong Memorial Hospital Monday evening after he was found floating in Canisius Lake. The Livingston County Sheriff's Office says they got a 911 call about 5 p.m. for a possible drowning off Wilkins Tract. Deputies arrived within minutes, found the man, and pulled him from the water. The cause of death is still under investigation. Sheriff Thomas Doherty said Monday night that family members still needed to be notified before he could release the ID. A driver was killed on Route 259 in Chili near the Craigie Bray Golf Club. Deputies say 3 men were leaving the golf club together about noon, all traveling in separate cars. Apparently, driver Cameron Martin pulled into the opposite lane to pass his friend's cars. When the driver suddenly became aware of an oncoming car heading straight for him, he swerved, apparently to avoid a head-on crash, but his car rolled and hit a tree. The accident was seen by golfers on the course who said the car was speeding before the crash. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Monday's spectacular crash at Union Street and Stony Point Road in Ogden took the life of a 27-year-old Chicago woman. Teresa Devlin was pronounced dead after she and 5 other people were taken to area hospitals following a 3-way crash. Ogden Police Chief Doug Nordquist said the crash involved a town dump truck loaded with gravel and 2 cars. Devlin's car failed to yield at the intersection and pulled out in front of that heavily loaded truck. The smash rolled the dump truck on its side, and it landed on top of the car, which was crushed. The third vehicle was passing through the intersection in the opposite direction and was caught up in the crash. Injuries ranged from minor to that one fatal. 7 Rochester area police departments are getting bulletproof vests for their officers under a program started by State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman. Schneiderman announced in Rochester that his Invest partnership will provide $91,000 in money seized from drug dealers to pay half the cost of more than 200 of the vests. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office will get some for its deputies. Rochester Police will get some. So will Brighton, Fairport, Gates, Ogden, and Webster Police. Schneiderman started this program in June when the congressional stalemate in Washington dried up funding for a federal program that used to help supply the life-saving vests to local police departments. An alliance of Buffalo Bills fans has responded to Sunday's letter from John Bon Jovi with a request that the musician's ownership group sign a contract that it would keep the Buffalo Bills in western New York. The Buffalo Fan Alliance is asking Bon Jovi's group to sign a binding agreement with the state not to move the team from the Buffalo area. The group says anything less would be viewed as nothing more than rhetoric. Rocker Bon Jovi had a letter published in the Buffalo News on Sunday saying the ownership group he represents will carry on Ralph Wilson's legacy in Buffalo if it gets the Bills franchise. Bon Jovi's partners, though, are based in Toronto, including the owners of Canada's biggest media chain, the Rogers family, and people in western New York, from fans to the Erie County executive, believe they will eventually move the team to Toronto if their bid wins. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of our pages and catch one. We post updates as necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.